Okay, here I am going to try to figure this out. Hello, hi Brittany, so good to see you. I can't really see you, but I can feel you. Okay, first of all, I'm gonna go ahead and redo my hair. Y'all wanna know what I'm doing? I'm sitting in my car in Florida. Don't come stalk me, but it is 53 degrees outside. Look, oh, does it not look so much? Do I look alive now? Like, does that look better? But no, for real, thank you so much for showing up, because I woke up this morning and I came to the gym to spice things up, because I mean, my personality, I like change. I like a new challenge. And I did cycle. Have you guys done cycle? Okay, so you guys feel me. So I'm so glad that you're here. But I did cycle this morning at 5:45. So I took my pre-workout and I just knocked it out. So I'm in the parking lot. Because if I go home, I'm gonna have to sit in the cold garage to work. And I thought, I'm not feeling that. I'm not feeling that. So I'm sitting in my car, and my windshield wipers are on. I'm sitting in my car in the parking lot at the gym with the heater on, because this is how I roll. Because as I was cycling, we're going to get to the Bible study soon. I'm letting some folks jump on. Welcome to our Live Slow Bible study. I'm so excited. I am telling you guys that I'm doing my best to just be better overall in my life. Hello, everyone. Because I not only want to become stronger spiritually and really dive into the Word more this year, I really want to work out in the mornings, because I have children who wake up. And if they wake up, then I can't even focus, right? Y'all know that's true. Who's a mom in here? Who's a mom? Y'all know if your children are awake, they're nuts. Are your children crazy? My children are crazy. Okay, so here we go. That's true. I am excited because this is week 2 of our James Bible study. I introduced it last week and I told you guys, look, this was a huge fear that I overcame. Hey guys, I'm so glad you're here. This is a huge fear that I overcame, because I really wanted to hold myself accountable for reading through the Bible this year. And I'm in Exodus now, which is like, who wants to read Exodus? But I'm enjoying it. But James is such a powerful book of the Bible. I love who James is. I love what James talks about, because it's such life practical application. So if you are a believer, if you're not a believer, which I'm assuming, why would you want to come to a Periscope if it said Bible study? If you don't already, have that relationship with Jesus. But if you don't, that's okay, because the Bible is like the best leadership book in the whole entire planet. So even if you're a human being, I think there's tons of life application to be learned from going through this Bible study with us. We can just call it reading about James' perspective from the book of the Bible. But here we go. James 1 through 12 is what we learned last week. This week we are going over James 1, 13 through 18. And it's going to be about the T word. T word stands for temptation. And that's crazy. So before we get started, for the new folks on here, I want to introduce myself so you don't think I'm a crazy person. Or you might. That's cool. I'm in the car, at the gym, parking lot, freezing to death. But I'm getting warmer because I have a heat warmer. My name is Laura Mendenhall, and I'm so glad that you're here. Because last week I threw out there that this is really intimidating for me. This is really scary because I'm not some biblical scholar. I don't stand up on stage and preach and share biblical lessons. I don't have a good memory, so I don't even memorize the Bible well, but I want to become a better student. I want to totally just fall in love with God, and I thought, what better way than to open up my doors and help people do that together, right? So what I've done is I have signed up for a program through my church called Right Now Media, and it's incredible because honestly you're able to check out all the videos from Francis Chan, which is the Bible study that we're doing. So it's not religion, Armir Saul. I'm talking about the Bible, James, the book of the Bible. That's what we're talking about today. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to watch this 8-minute video together. And so stay with me. Loving that we have some folks on today, but stay with me. If you're serious about having this accountability at 7 a.m. on a Thursday morning, stay with me. 8 minutes, and then we're going to discuss it. So wherever you are, you need to watch this, or you need to listen to it if you're doing your hair, if you're getting ready, if you're eating your Cheerios, whatever it is, then we are going to get started. Let me go ahead and double tap this. Thanks, guys. Welcome to our Live Slow Bible Study Week 2. After this video is when we're going to have our discussion, but I think that this is going to discuss things a lot easier than just my voice.
So James has been addressing these people who are going through all sorts of trials and explain to them that this is part of life. And sometimes we don't remember that this Bible doesn't promise that once we start following Jesus, like all of our trials are going to go away. In fact, if anything, it increases. But then he goes on and he explains that not only are trials part of life, but temptation itself is part of the Christian life. In the same way, there are those who have this weird thought that, well, once I become a Christian, then all of my evil desires will just leave me. And James is saying, no, it's just like those trials. They'll still be there. And now the temptation will be there. And then he explains how to deal with it. In verse 13, he says, let no one say when he is tempted, I am being tempted by God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, and he himself tempts no one. So he explains, okay, when these urges arise in you, he goes, let no one say when he's tempted. The term here is a command. It's a real strong force. It's like, don't you dare say God is tempting you. He says, don't make this about him, because he is not tempted. He doesn't tempt other people. Don't use God and evil in that type of sentence. But then he explains in the very next verse, he says in verse 14, but each person is tempted when he is lured and enticed by his own desire. He says the origin is your own desire, and most of us hate to hear that. We want to blame him for any desire, and he says, no, God doesn't tempt. He has nothing to do with that evil. That came from you. Don't make this about him. It's about something in you. It's your own desire. The origin of this desire is not God. Okay? He's good. The evil doesn't come from him. It comes from within you, and that's a difficult thing for a lot of us to swallow, to go, well, because we all want to believe, no, I'm a good person, and that's not from me, and it's in our nature to blame. This is ever since God created man in that first sin with Adam and Eve. You think, he's like, well, it's that woman you gave me. And she's like, well, it was the serpent's fault. And here it's like, well, God, you made me this way, or you put that temptation, or you lured me. He goes, no, that was you. You were lured and you were enticed. And it's this picture of a fish, like going for the bait, like being lured, something in him going, I want to go for it. And once that desire, and we know, for all of us, that feeling of something that we know is wrong, but we want it anyways. And what it says is that when his desire, when it has conceived, it gives birth to sin, and sin, when it is fully grown, brings forth death. So there's something in us that longs for something that God says is wrong or evil, but we want it anyways. And it says you have a choice at that moment, just like that fish that's being lured away. Either I go and I grab it, or I swim away. And in the same way, as you're tempted, you have that choice. And he says the moment you go for it, he says it's a conception that takes place, and he calls that sin. And he says as that sin goes on, it produces death. And it's a very graphic picture. It's actually talking about childbirth, about conception, and then once it's grown and it's ready to be born, it's a really graphic, ugly picture, sad picture of a stillborn baby. It brings forth this death. And it's such a clear image of sin where you're so anticipating, thinking, this is going to bring me pleasure, this is going to bring me pleasure. And it's that awful feeling of the baby's born and it's stillborn, and it actually brings you the most depressing feeling, that awful, sick feeling. He goes, that's what sin's going to do to you. It's going to look so good, and you're going to anticipate, like, this is going to bring me pleasure. This is going to be so good. This could lead to something good. Every single time, it's going to lead to death. At some point, whether in this life or the next, it's going to end in this awful depression of, I thought it was going to end well, and it ends in death, in misery. And that word for death there, it refers to the soul leaving the body, and in a spiritual sense, it's your soul being separated or leaving God, and that's the end result of sin. And that's why he says in verse 16, do not be deceived, my beloved brothers. He's saying, I love you, and I don't want you to be deceived by this. I don't want you to be taken away by it. And he says, every good and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom there's no variation or shadow due to change. He says, don't be deceived by the deceitfulness of sin. He goes, man, there are good gifts that don't come from within here, and there's evil coming out from. There are good gifts coming from the Father, and it's not a trick. It's not a bait and a switch. It's a perfect gift. And he's saying, don't be deceived by the other stuff. Swim towards God. What he gives you is going to fulfill. Jesus came so that we could have life and life abundantly, and it's something that lasts, that doesn't end in regret. Like a life to the full. It's the thief that comes to steal and kill and entice you so he can destroy you. And I don't know what you're struggling with. I don't know what that lure is in your life right now, that you've got a choice. What do I go after? Do I go after it? And God's saying, don't do it. Don't be deceived. It will end in death. It's never worked. God is not mocked. Anytime we pursue something that he says is sin, it's going to end in death. And he says, instead, swim away. And not just swim away, but swim towards me. God's saying, look, I'll be your shepherd. I'll give you everything. I'll get it to where your cup is overflowing, but you've got to swim away from that temptation, whatever it is in your life right now. And what James is saying, he's going, my beloved brethren, swim away. God offers so much more. He can be your shepherd. He'll have your cup overflowing to where you just have no wants anymore. He can be that fulfilling. It's a good, perfect, complete gift. James is warning you. He's warning all of us. Temptation is real. It comes from within. It's all around us. And yet God offers something better. So I don't know what that looks like in your life. But James says if you stick around and you pursue that sin, you're headed for misery. None of us want that for you. God doesn't want that for you. He offers you life. He offers you a fulfilling life. Swim away now and go towards him and find the peace in everything that you've been looking for.
That is typically not a popular topic. But as I was watching that, I kept on thinking, I know that I go through seasons where I struggle with different temptations, and I feel that in everything that I'm going through, it might be minor to some people, it might be major to some people, but there have been different seasons of my life where, maybe at one point in my life I struggled with, pride, lust, greed, vanity, quick temper, those are common temptations. I know even now having a struggle of control, wanting to control everything. And this is pretty vulnerable, and I don't know if you can even identify an area of your life you feel friction. If there's an area in your life where you're feeling something just doesn't feel right. I'm chasing this one thing so hard, and that's all I can focus on, but it's just never satisfying. He equated it to obviously like being somebody putting bait out there, like somebody's going fishing, and if you bite the bait, it's going to reel you in. And what happens when the fish is caught? They die. Like, they could die if somebody doesn't throw them back. So the same thing with us. Obviously, this is not rocket science. James is an amazing author here, just articulating this, that if we chase things other than God, if we pursue something to fill us up other than God, and strengthening our relationship with Him, or even just asking Him to give us the wisdom to overcome a hard situation, giving the wisdom to us to know how to handle a situation that's hard. For me personally, for the past 3 years, I have been building an online business, and there are times and weeks, because we get paid weekly, there's weeks where I'm like, oh, I wonder what my paycheck will be. I worked really hard this week, and sometimes I equate my work ethic depending on my paycheck, and I had to sit back and I think, is that greed? Like, am I greedy because I want more money? And I thought, and I justify that, and that's not bad. Money is not bad. Money is not the root of all evil. It's a root to evil. And I definitely feel that people can mix those two things up. So talking about my personal temptation, as we learned here from the speaker who just spoke, Francis Chan, my temptation right now in life is greed. How's that for vulnerability? But not greed in the sense of I want, gimme, I want big this, I want fancy clothes, I want more material things, I want more money in my bank account so I can go take a bath in cash. That's not where my greed is coming from, because I'm really not tempted by material things, which I like things. I'm not like super holy Laura, whatever. But I'm not tempted to go get a Louis Vuitton purse. I'm not tempted to go get, $100 pair of jeans. Why? Because I would rather spend $100 to get a massage. Right? Hearts whip. But here's what I'm thinking. If I have the mentality that I can never get enough, if I never have enough, if there is never enough of I could never achieve enough goals. I can never achieve enough wealth. I can never achieve enough affirmation or accomplishments. That's greed. I'm not necessarily chasing the green dollar, but I'm chasing affirmation. I'm chasing accomplishment. I'm chasing goals. And so in a way, I'm greedy for moving forward. And I have to stop and think, okay, what would God want me to do in this situation? Because at the end of the day, is that going to satisfy me? Is that going to fill a void in my heart that I have, that only could be replaced by God affirming me and God saying, you are my daughter and you're beautiful and you have everything that you need and I've given you everything. So follow me here, rest with me here, because we're going to be on for just a few more minutes. I don't know if you know something that you struggle with, but maybe in your life right now you're thinking, I need more money. Because I'll be able to pay my bills. I get it. But I know that God wants women and men to be successful. I know from personal experience, from intense, hardcore studying, that God wants other Christian men and women to be successful in the marketplace. They want business women out there working their tail off, representing the main thing, right? So I'm out here as an entrepreneur, and I'm thinking, okay, so even though I'm desiring success, how can I desire success without being greedy? How can I desire success and money and accomplishments without feeling greedy? Can I be completely transparent with you guys? Who's still with me? Can I be completely transparent? This morning, thank you. This morning, okay, this is totally transparent. And I want you to know this is my open, genuine, non-greedy heart moment right now. This morning, my bank account, something was deposited. What was deposited in my paycheck this morning was the biggest paycheck I have ever received in my entire life. This week was the biggest paycheck we have ever received in our entire life. That's incredible because we work really hard, but does that satisfy every ounce of me? Am I feeling like on top of the world? Are all my insecurities solved? No. You know why? Because I was in that cycle class a second ago, spinning my wheels, literally, and I was going through my brain and thinking, okay, if my greatest temptation is greed, that means that when I get money, then I should feel fine. If I'm searching for the dollar, and when I get more money, shouldn't that make me happy? My answer to that is no. Money's not going to make me happy. What is going to make me happy is using that money in the right way, is using that money to be stewardly, using that money to be wise, to to break it up as it should be, as God leads us to give and to survive and to save. But what I'm learning here is that I still have a basket of insecurities, and I still have a bucket of self-doubt and evaluations and more temptations. So what I've learned by that is I might be tempted by always wanting more, but when I get more, if it doesn't satisfy me, then that's a red flag of, Laura, you're focusing on the wrong thing. So maybe that's what you're dealing with. Are you focusing on the wrong thing? Because what I want to focus on is truly just falling more in love with God and Jesus so much, where I would wake up in the morning and just say, okay, God, use me. Here I am. Whatever strengths you have given me, I want to be an open book. I want to be an instrument of you. I want to just speak truth this morning. I want to help somebody feel lighter and feel more accomplished or feel confident because of you, not because of their own self. I don't want us to have confidence in ourselves or our abilities. I want us to rest assured and say, God, you gave me these abilities. You gave me these things, and it is enough. You gave me this money. You gave me this body. You gave me these clothes. You gave me my children. You gave me everything, and it is enough. And if God so chooses to bless you with more because of your diligence and skill and ability and his plan for you, then I will be grateful, and I will honor those blessings by being a good steward of them. Does that make sense? So when we're facing temptation, whatever your temptation is, and I shared with you, my temptation has been greed, not because I chase $1, but because I always chase more. I'm never satisfied, and that's a struggle. So for you, if you are a goal-oriented person like me, how about let's today just rest in what God has given us and be grateful, and make sure that we are being diligent and obedient in what he has given us. Because the Bible says, to whom much is given, much is required. And God also wants us to be diligent and responsible for what he's given us. Because why would God give us more to glorify him? Why would God gift us more to help him or to bless him or to inspire other people if we're not even being responsible with what he's given us now? We have to be so on point and obedient to what God has blessed us with now for him to open up to give us more. I'm not chasing God to be Santa Claus. I'm not chasing God to be like, here, I'm going to just give you everything you want if you honor what I give you. But I'm chasing God, and I trust that he's going to give me what I need when I need it if I am responsible with what he's giving me. So when I'm tempted by something, I realize that I'm trying to fill a hole in my life, trying to fill an insecurity, trying to fill a hunger that I have, because that's what temptation is. But nothing will satisfy us unless we ask him to fill us up. Unless we ask him, what do you want me to do with this? What do you want me to do with my day? What do you want me to do with my attitude? And how can you help me be the best I can today? I'm all about setting daily goals, because my brain might work in a 24-hour period, because after that I have to reset. If I set a year goal, then it's going to overwhelm me a little bit. So I just set daily goals. I'm going to practice daily how I could try to be the best possible human being in the whole entire world, right? Like, I just want to be better. I want to help better. I want to serve better. I want to give better. I just want to practice that daily. So today, I'm going to end us in prayer. And again, this is what we did last week. If you are watching, then you feel free to turn over, the camera, because I don't want you to feel like you have to watch or say anything or give hearts. But I just want us to together end in a quick prayer just about temptation. And if you want to reread James, I actually listen to James on my Bible app, YouVersion app. It's free, and I listen to the Bible through that every morning, or I try to every morning. So you can reread, and it's just James chapter 1, verse 13 through 18. That was about temptation today, and how God does not tempt, but when we do face temptations, he wants us to overcome them and choose him. Okay? So let me end in prayer today. Dear God, thank you so much. You have answered my prayers again, God, because I am sometimes such a crazy mess, and I thank you so much for just allowing me 30 minutes on a Thursday morning to have quiet, free time to study your word with some friends. I thank you so much for teaching us these things from James and from the author Francis Chan. God, I thank you for revealing to us what we're tempted by, because God, I know that those are weaknesses in our heart. I know that those are things that our enemy knows we're tempted by, so it's going to come up. And even watching this today, and even participating in this Periscope, God, this Bible study, I know that because of that, we are going to be more in tune with what we're tempted by, and it might be hard. So God, I pray today fervently that you will give us the strength and the wisdom and the diligence to stand against temptation, to choose you. And if we don't know what is right and wrong, God, then I pray that we would ask you. I pray that you would reveal it to us. What is tempting to us? What is wrong? And what are we chasing that's wrong right now, God? I pray that you would squash all those temptations and rise us up so we can make a difference in your kingdom, God. I pray that you would rise us up and you would help us be strong and bold and farther in love with you, God, because you are all that matters and you are the main thing, and that you are why we live and breathe. So God, forgive me for my temptation. Thank you. Thank you so much for all of the blessings you've given me in my life. I know that everything that you've given me is over what I need, and I'm thankful, and I pray that you would give me the wisdom to use those blessings in the best way and just the stewardly way that is in your plan. So God, thank you so much for this morning. Thank you for the wonderful ladies who have joined me, and just continue to bless this Bible study and help me continue to articulate and work through the different lessons that we're going to go over. Amen. Okay, hopefully that wasn't too long and awkward, but I kind of got into it. So thank you guys so much for showing up with me this morning. Mwah. Go enjoy your day. Go fight temptation. Don't focus on the temptation. Just focus on God. Okay? So just focus on God. Focus on what you want to grow. What you focus on expands. So focus on God, and He will lead you to where you need to go. Okay? Thanks, guys. Thank you so much. Mwah.